Well, welcome back to Kiwi Classics and Customs. We have another Mustang from Bring a Trailer, purchased recently. Good thing is it's running under its own steam, so that's a plus. Got a couple of little niggles the customer's concerned about, but really minor stuff, and he just wants me to check over and make sure it's good. He's using it. It's going to be his daughter's wedding car, so he doesn't want it breaking down, which is, that's fair. So yeah, we're going to have a look and see what we got, really. I mean, face value, it looks, first impression, looks pretty good. Good colour, convertible, V8, 4-speed. It's got AC, it's the under dash style. That could well have been installed, as a dealer option way back then or at some point. It's got the Rally Sport gauges, if you look in there, Steve, it's quite nice. It's been restored. It does, I suspect it's had rear quarters fitted on it, but they looks like they've done a nice job. Yeah, it's got the Rally Pack gauges, which is nice. Centre console. Ticks quite a few boxes, and I say first impressions seems like a pretty fair car. Let's have a look under the hood, see what we got. Well, everything's as it should be. It's got the old school air conditioning compressor on it, so that's certainly been installed for quite a long time. I'm guessing it's been upgraded as far as the gas goes. It won't be R12 anymore, I don't think. Yeah, power steering, manual brakes, but I mean, they work. Pulling it in, the brakes were that typical little bit dead, but they work. You just got to push a bit harder. But it's got it seems to be unmessed around with. They have added electronic ignition to it, but they haven't taken the resistor wire out. So that's part of the problem with it not running quite like it should. Because you leave that resistor wire in there, which is hidden under the dash. A lot of people don't know about it. Instead of getting 12 volts to your electronic ignition, you get 7-ish, 8 maybe on a good day. Yeah, so we're going to fix that. But looking closely in here, I mean, it's all very original. These inner fenders, 8 times out of 10 these have been replaced. It's got the factory stamp chassis number in it, or VIN number, or chassis number really. But you can see all around here is, I'm not sure whether it'll pick it up on camera, but it's definitely the factory spot welds. And it's the same on that side. This is all the factory spot welds down here, which is a telltale. So that's nice. It's not rusting out up here. That one's a bit loose. That's all right. We can fix that. Yeah, it's not rusting through up here, which they often do. So yeah, it's all so far so good, I'd have to say. It looks pretty reasonable. It's not messed around with. It hasn't got big 408 stroker stickers on it or something crazy. It's not trying to be something it's not. It just looks to be a decent old car. It's got these extra tubular braces here. That's a convertible only thing, just to try and tie the cowls. The cowls had a habit of shaking a bit side to side as you drove them and you had a bump, and that was to try and improve that situation. So often those are gone, missing on the convertibles, but this actually looks pretty decent. But the test is going to be getting it up in the air. That's where all the evil lurks, underneath. So we're going to get this up on the rack, look under her skirt, see what's really there, yeah, that'll be the telling thing. All right, see you in a second. Okay, so here we go. The truth will be revealed. Let's have a look, Steve. Let's go for the typical places. The bottom of the trunk drop off. Now, yep, you can see there's some welds here that aren't factory. That's where they've put new quarters on it. It has had quarters on it they have been done correctly, which is, you know, that's a big bonus. It's not just skins or patches, or they have put complete quarters on. A little bit of repair on the trunk drop off, which typically you have to do that whole thing. So that's okay, you know, that's pretty good. The exhaust is, some of the hangers probably need a bit of adjustment. We got a bit of a, you know, that's rattling when it's idling. Trunk drop off here, that's not been patched up, but you can see some of the welding. But you know, they've made an attempt to put the little drains in the bottom of the quarter like they're meant to have, so that's nice. New shock absorbers. I mean, it's a lot of fresh paint under here. I have to wonder whether it was on a rotisserie. It might have been a rotisserie deal, possibly. Now another telltale on the convertibles is this little inner, this is an inner rocker here, and we got some rust through starting here, which is structural. You know, that runs all the way through to the front, that inner rocker, and then obviously the torque box ties in it. The torque box is in great shape, but yeah, we've got the beginnings of some issues there, which will have to be addressed at some point, not like this week or anything. It's not that bad. This side is a little worse. Kind of get my finger in here. So we got a little bit of more rust going on here. They had a habit of, like, moisture and dirt tends to run to the back and get caught up. They didn't really put much in the way of a good drainage system. So yeah, they tended to rust away at the back here a little bit. But yeah, it's the floors are kind of original. These original floors, you can actually see, I don't know whether you can get in close enough, but to see these little, what look like little drips. That's where the car was dipped, and you know, the paint would literally drip off the lowest points, which was the bottom of these little ridges. So that's an easy way to tell, you know, a factory floor pan. So that is factory, that's not been replaced. The front floor pans have had some repair work. You've got a little bit going on here. Got a little bit of swelling in the torque box, but really not bad. A little bit of Bondo in the bottom of the front fender, but that's to be expected, really. But yeah, small patch here. The rest of it's original. All these frame extensions are original. The lower seat braces are original. It's a pretty original car. That's okay. We've had a bit more repair work here. You know, a little strip by the look of it just here. It tended to, that's where it sits underneath the inner rocker, and you had a layer on layer, and if they got any moisture in between them, like through a leaking windshield or leaking convertible top, it would get in between those two layers and they'd wanted to rust through here. So that's what's happened to this one. But yeah, again, you can see all these little drip marks all over the place here. Hopefully it shows up on camera. So it's actually a pretty original car. 4-speed, obviously. Power steering. Drum brakes would have been nice if it was disc, but you know, that can be added too, like with the factory components too are available. So we can do an upgrade to discs if he wants. All the front rails up here are good, where they traditionally want to rust. Those are often rotted away. If you look up in here, you can see the outer and the inner part of the frame. That's usually swollen up and starting to rust away, but that's all original and in good shape. And man, even the battery box, look up at that battery box. That's the like underneath the battery. That's factory. That's not been replaced. So that's pretty unusual. The battery usually eats the hell out of stuff. Well, not the battery, but the acid from the battery eats stuff up. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn close. It's been nicely restored, nicely put together. You know, gaps are pretty good. Things are lining up. So we got a few little things to do, just like the exhaust. We're going to do some just general service stuff, you know, coolant flush, oil change, that kind of thing. Fix that ignition issue where they've still got the resistor running to the electronic ignition, so it's only getting about 7 volts, which is not going to work. Or doesn't work well. It does work, but it doesn't work well. You don't get the benefit of having electronic ignition and that extra spark, so it kind of nullifies that. But really, going to give this like an 8.5 out of 10 under here. Not perfect, does need a little bit of love at some point. Pretty darn good. For an internet purchase, your customer's got to be pretty happy. It's not like that last Bringer trailer Mustang we had in here. All right, let's get to work on this. We'll knock off these few little things. We'll take it for a test drive. Okay, Steve, jump in. So we've been busy. We've got the exhaust kind of, both the rear mounts were coming loose, falling off. So we got rid of the rattles in the exhaust, and we got the ignition fixed up. Got the right gauge wire, and we got 13 volts to the ignition there. And what else did we do? Set all the ignition timing and mixtures and stuff like that, and it seems to be running pretty nice. There's really not a lot else going on with this car, so we'll see how it drives. Whoa, bit of a clutch shudder there. Yow. Apart from that shutter, this thing drives nice actually. Got a nice exhaust note. Going through the gears nicely. Not a bad day for driving a convertible, is it, Steve?
No, it's a very quiet car. Like, you hear that exhaust, and that's it.
Yeah, not a lot of fuss. A pleasant, sunny day driver. Just have to check that clutch out. We'll see if it's going to do that every time when we go from a standing start, which might indicate some clutch work. I hadn't noticed that shutter driving in and out of the bay, but yeah. Man, this thing's nice. Not really any rattles or squeaks.
No, that's what I'm saying. Very, very quiet.
Yeah. Whew. It is a little warm though. What have we got today? 94 degrees or something? Yeesh. It's hot. Tractable. There's no hesitations, no spluttering, stuttering, nothing. We'll just do a standing start. Whether that was a driver error, that big shutter, it did, but yeah, it's beginning. There you go. I think I made it worse. I wasn't expecting it, but it's got the beginnings of that typical Ford clutch shutter. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the more the owner would drive it, you'd start to get used to it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think that'll be all right. Well, I think the customer should be pretty happy with this. He bought it sight unseen off Bring a Trailer, and it's a happy ending, I'd have to say. You know, a little bit of money on fixing the ignition, exhaust rattles. That's about it. He will have a little bit of rust work to do down the road, somewhere down the road, but it's not a big issue at the moment. And you know, it's probably taken 60 years to get to that point, you know. So, but it's not enough to really to compromise the car at all. It's right at the very back of the rocker, so I'm okay with that. Suspect he'll be okay with that. Yeah, so it's time to head back to the shop, park it up, get that GTO inside. All right, guys. Well, we will see you on the next video. Take it easy.